Have you ever wondered why some people work 60 hours a week, grinding day in and day out, yet never seem to get ahead financially? Meanwhile, others seem to build incredible wealth almost effortlessly, buying back their time and living life completely on their own terms. We are often taught that the secret to getting rich is simply to work hard, save your pennies, skip your morning coffee, and wait 40 years to retire. But if you look closely at the truly wealthy, you will notice they aren't playing by those rules at all. The truth is, getting rich isn't about luck, and it isn't about having a genius-level IQ. It is a very specific formula. Welcome back to the channel. Today we are doing something entirely different and potentially life-changing. Instead of summarizing just one concept, I am going to give you the ultimate, definitive roadmap to building wealth. Over the next 20-something minutes, we are going to combine the absolute best lessons from three of the most powerful, paradigm-shifting financial books ever written. The Science of Getting Rich by Wallace D. Wattles, The Psychology of Money by Morgan Housel, and The Millionaire Fastlane by M.J. DeMarco. Think of building wealth like building a high-performance vehicle. First, the science of getting rich will build your engine, giving you the absolute non-negotiable mindset required to attract wealth instead of repelling it. Second, the psychology of money will be your navigation system, teaching you the quiet, hidden behaviors of the rich so you don't crash and lose your money once you make it. And finally, the Millionaire Fastlane is the accelerator, the exact, aggressive execution strategy you need to build scalable income and finally decouple your time from your money. But I need you to listen to me very carefully right now. To make this formula work, you cannot skip a single step. If you only master the mindset, but you skip the execution strategies we cover at the end of this audio, you will just be a highly motivated person with an empty bank account. You need all three pieces working seamlessly together. So, treat this audio like a masterclass. Put away your distractions, settle in, and make sure you listen all the way through to the final minute. Because by the end of this track, you will have a completely new understanding of how money works and the exact steps you need to take to claim your financial freedom. Let's dive straight into step one, the wealth mindset. Step one begins entirely in the mind. Before you can build a business, invest in real estate, or compound your money, you have to fundamentally change the way you view the world. And for this, we turn to a classic published over a century ago, The Science of Getting Rich by Wallace D. Wattles. The core premise of this book is bold, but it is the foundation of all wealth. Wattles states that getting rich is not a matter of your environment, your talents, or your starting capital. It is an exact science, like algebra or mathematics. He argues that there are certain laws that govern the process of acquiring wealth, and once these laws are learned and obeyed by any person, they will get rich with mathematical certainty. He calls this doing things in a certain way. But what is this certain way? It starts with a massive mental shift. Most people operate with a competitive mindset. They look at the world and see a limited pie. They think that if someone else gets a piece, there is less for them. They focus on beating the competition, haggling for pennies, and fighting over scarce resources. This mindset is rooted in fear and lack. Wattles teaches that you must completely abandon the competitive mindset and adopt the creative mindset. The creative mindset understands that wealth is not finite, it is infinite. You do not have to take anything away from anyone else to become rich. Instead, you create new value out of formless substance, out of your ideas, your energy, and your unique skills. You aren't fighting for a slice of the pie. You are baking an entirely new pie. When you create true value for others, money flows to you naturally as a byproduct. But having a creative mindset isn't just about daydreaming. Wattles introduces two crucial elements to make this work: gratitude and action. First, gratitude. When you are constantly complaining about the economy, your boss, or your lack of money, you are focusing your mind on poverty, and what you focus on expands. Gratitude immediately connects your mind to abundance. It keeps you looking for opportunities rather than obstacles. Second, and perhaps most importantly, is action. Wattles makes it very clear. You cannot just sit in the chair, visualize $1 million, and expect it to magically appear. Thought is the unseen power that draws wealth to you, but action is the physical bridge that allows you to receive it. You must act in the present. You cannot wait for the perfect conditions, the perfect job, or the perfect economy. You must act right where you are, using the tools you have right now, and deliver more in use value than you take in cash value. So, step one is locked in. You have abandoned the competitive struggle. You are focused on creating value. You are operating in that certain way. But here is where the formula gets dangerous. Having the mindset to attract money is only the first piece of the puzzle. What happens when the money actually starts rolling in? Because if you don't know how to handle it, that wealth will slip right through your fingers. A strong engine is useless if your steering wheel is broken. That brings us to step two, the wealth behavior. Now that your mind is calibrated for wealth creation, we have to talk about survival. Because getting money and keeping money require two completely different skill sets. For this, we turn to our second book, the modern masterpiece, The Psychology of Money by Morgan Housel. Housel's core premise is eye-opening. He states that doing well with money has very little to do with how smart you are and absolutely everything to do with how you behave. You can be a genius doctor or engineer, but if you cannot control your ego, you will end up broke. On the flip side, an ordinary person with no financial education can build incredible wealth if they simply master a few behavioral skills. The most important lesson in this phase of our wealth-building formula is understanding the crucial difference between being rich and being wealthy. Society constantly confuses these two words, but they are not the same. Being rich is about your current income. It is highly visible. If someone drives a $100,000 car or lives in a massive mansion, they might be rich because they have a high income to make those monthly payments. But that does not mean they are wealthy. In fact, driving a $100,000 car is just proof that they have $100,000 less in the bank than they did before they bought it. Wealth, on the other hand, is hidden. Wealth is the money you do not spend. Wealth is the investments compounding in the background, the emergency fund that lets you sleep at night, and the freedom to wake up every morning and say, I can do whatever I want today. Rich brings you attention. Wealth brings you freedom. So, how do we build that hidden wealth? It all comes down to managing one specific human trait: your ego. Housel brilliantly defines saving money as simply the gap between your ego and your income. The reason most people never get wealthy, even as their salary increases, is because of lifestyle creep. The moment they make more money, they immediately upgrade their car, their clothes, and their house to show everyone else that they are making more money. They let their ego dictate their spending. To master the behavior of wealth, you have to stop caring about what other people think of your lifestyle. When you stop trying to look wealthy to strangers, you suddenly have the cash flow to actually become wealthy. And when you have that cash flow, you unlock the greatest mathematical force in the universe: compounding. Building wealth isn't about making one massive lucky bet. It is about consistent, boring, repetitive, good decisions over a long period of time. It is about investing a portion of your income, letting it grow, and having the patience to leave it alone. The biggest risk to your wealth isn't the stock market crashing. It is you getting impatient, panicking, and interrupting the compounding process. So, let's recap where we are. Step 1. You have the creative mindset of Wallace D. Wattles, pulling opportunities toward you. Step 2. You have the behavioral discipline of Morgan Housel, controlling your ego, saving your cash, and letting your money compound. For many people, this is enough to eventually retire comfortably at 65. But what if you don't want to wait 40 years? What if you want wealth and freedom now, while you are still young enough to enjoy it? If you want to accelerate the process, saving pennies simply won't cut it. You need to build a powerful engine. And that brings us to our third and final step: the wealth execution. Now your mind is right, and your spending habits are bulletproof. You are no longer sabotaging your own success. But how do you actually generate the money? How do you build the engine that creates life-changing wealth? For our final step, we throw out the traditional playbook entirely and turn to The Millionaire Fastlane by M.J. DeMarco. For decades, financial gurus have sold us what DeMarco calls the slow lane. The slow lane is the traditional path. Get a good job. Sacrifice 10% of your paycheck into an index fund. Skip your morning coffee and wait 40 or 50 years for the market to make you a millionaire by the time you are too old to truly enjoy it. The slow lane is essentially a massive gamble on time. It relies on the hope that you will live long enough, stay healthy enough, and keep your job long enough to see the payoff. But if you want to be rich while you are young and full of energy, you have to get off the slow lane and enter the fast lane. And the defining rule of the fast lane is this: you must completely decouple your income from your time. If you are paid by the hour or by the salary, your income has a strict mathematical limit, because there are only 24 hours in the day. To build massive wealth, you have to shift from being a consumer to being a producer, and you must build a system that generates money even while you are sleeping. To do this, DeMarco created the ultimate blueprint for any wealth-generating business. It is called the Sense Framework. If your business or side hustle hits these 5 criteria, you are in the fast lane. Let's break them down. C stands for control. Are you driving the bus, or are you a passenger? If you build your entire business on a platform that can ban you tomorrow, or if you rely on a single supplier who can raise their prices, you don't have control. To build real wealth, you must own the system. You must control the brand, the product, and the pricing. E stands for entry. This is the barrier to entry. If a business is incredibly easy to start, like filling out an online survey or joining a multi-level marketing scheme, the market will be flooded with millions of people doing the exact same thing. And where there is no barrier to entry, there is no profit margin. You want to build something that requires real effort, skill, or capital to start. That difficulty is what protects your wealth. N stands for need. This is a hard truth. The market does not care about your passions. It only cares about what it needs. If you start a business just because you love doing it, but it doesn't solve a real problem for anyone else, you will fail. Stop chasing what you want to do and start looking for massive problems that other people need solved. Provide immense value, and the money will follow. T stands for time. Can your business survive without your physical presence? If your shop closes the moment you stop working, you don't own a business. You just own a very stressful job. The goal is to build automated systems, hire teams, or create digital products that can be sold 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, regardless of where you are in the world. And finally, S stands for scale. This is the ultimate multiplier. If you own a local sandwich shop, your scale is limited to the people in your neighborhood. But if you create a piece of software, write a book, or build an online platform, your scale is global. You can reach millions of people. As DeMarco says, to make millions, you must impact millions. Magnitude and scale are the true drivers of extraordinary wealth. When you combine a business that meets the sense framework with the creative mindset of Wallace D. Wattles and the behavioral discipline of Morgan Housel, you become virtually unstoppable. You have the engine, the steering wheel, and the accelerator. But knowing the formula isn't enough. You have to take the first step. And that is exactly what we're going to do right now. We have covered a massive amount of ground today, and if you are still listening right now, it proves that you are serious about changing your financial destiny. Let's bring this entire formula together one last time. To get rich, you need a complete system. First, you need the engine. The science of getting rich teaches you to abandon the competitive struggle and adopt a creative mindset, understanding that wealth is attracted through value and gratitude. Second, you need the steering wheel. The psychology of money teaches you to control your ego, avoid lifestyle creep, and harness the silent, unstoppable power of compounding. You must remember that true wealth is the money you don't spend. And finally, you need the accelerator. The Millionaire Fastlane shows you how to decouple your time from your income. By building a business or system that follows the sense framework, control, entry, need, time, and scale, you stop trading hours for dollars and start building a machine that makes you money while you sleep. But all of this knowledge is completely useless if you close this audio and go back to your normal routine. So, I am giving you one specific mission to complete today. Right now, I want you to look at your life and identify your biggest bottleneck. Are you stuck in a negative, competitive mindset? Are you spending too much money trying to look rich to other people? Or are you stuck in the slow lane, trading your time for an hourly wage without building any scalable systems. Once you identify your weakest link, make one single change today to fix it. Unsubscribe from a streaming service to boost your savings rate, or spend 30 minutes tonight brainstorming a business idea that solves a real problem for people. Take action today. Thank you so much for investing your time and listening to the very end. If this wealth-building roadmap brought you value, please hit that subscribe button so you don't miss our future masterclasses. And before you go, drop a comment below and let me know which of the 3 steps, mindset, behavior, or execution, are you going to focus on first. I read every comment, and I can't wait to see your answers. Keep moving forward, keep dreaming, and I will see you in the next one.